Okay. Okay, hi all. I had a really cool, this is still going to be cool. Let me light my incense. Presentation. I have something very interesting to show you. I'm lighting my incense. Fun. I light these things and then it hurts my throat. All right, welcome to WCIA Network, where all the information that I speak about here and put forth is for the sake of the missing children. It is for the sake of the missing children. Here's my disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107, the Copyright Act 1976. Everything that I put in front of you, including photos and faces and names, is for the sake of the missing children. As I'm preparing for tonight's live, I decided to go research. Well, not research, I mean, just look at his photos and see if I feel anything. Who all thinks he looks like, I'm going to open up chat. Who all thinks he looks like that drawing? I think he does. I went to look up Tim Mullins' Facebook today. And a different Tim Mullins, which obviously there's tons of different people with the same name, right? But how many people with the same name have the same elements in their photos as the Summerwell's missing children? So what I'm going to do is show you something before I go into my readings. The drawing is from 30 years ago, from a cold case I've been working on. And when I saw this guy's nose, I talked to the detective in this case. I'm like, this is the drawing is from a child's recollection who thinks they saw the person. So obviously it's not going to be the same. It's more of the structure and the nose. You know, this is from a child 30 years ago. But anyways, the one in the middle that I marked out is because I really don't think it's fair for me to put his face up here when he doesn't even know. I think they're from Australia. You could probably do your own research into this under Tim Mullins on Facebook. I'm going to go look up some information on Tim Mullins, and this particular Tim Mullins didn't have any photos nor information on him. His girlfriend did. Now, the girlfriend looked familiar to me. Lots and lots of makeup. They're both young, so forth, whatever. So I'm going to show you a few things that is in their photos. I kept out all the children's faces, and I kept out their faces. So they're not real clear pictures, but this is a picture that's of them in front of this Christmas tree. And in the back, that's what's showing in the back of the Christmas tree. In the windows, this is what's showing in the windows. It's now if it was just a reflection, that's okay, but they're the reflection of basically all the elements that I have been showing you. Let me open this up. And if I need to, I could crop and paste it. What is behind this little girl? Actually, there's two girls, and I did cover their faces. Is a child's head in a box. And the flatbeds, those flatbeds, they're flat with the hearts on top. This is what's behind these children. See? In the reflection. What's behind her are the same kind of box with the maroon, the silver, and the clear. And it's connected through her neck. Now, if I showed her face, you'd see more, but trust me, that's the box frame. And the same thing that we see in the Summerwells case in the back seat of her car is basically those to me. It's not anything other than that. I have enough photos of those boxes with the frame, the silver and the maroon. She's in a car, by the way. This picture here is behind her of a person in a box with the machinery behind her. The person is sitting in a green room in a box. And that's her reflection in her glasses. That is her neck up top in the right-hand corner, and the child, I didn't realize to show that much. The child is completely zoned out, and these are the messages on this person's hand. Let me see if I could blow it up a bit here. His tattoos consistently change. And this is what his tattoo looks like now. Now I'm going to turn it this way. Here we go. The children, the numbers change in his hand, and the children change. I don't like it. His name is Tim Mullins. His name is Tim Mullins. That's why I was like, what? What are the odds of that? And look at the girl, though, that's the little girl's hand. I'm not showing her face. There are a lot of kids in here. And then the foot is this, it's like silvery with the heart on it. They say they're from Australia. They're in Australia. But I could tell you something. I looked at this photo. Let me see if it's in here, because if I can't show the kids, I didn't do it. Here she is attached to the white thing on her head, and look behind you. It's like that fake car, but that body goes down. It's down in the ground. Goes down in the ground. This is what they're doing here. They're like and looks like they're modeling or something. They're like the same people as I would put them in the same grouping as the Beeston girls or whatever. That was weird. My incense like just melted away. And this is what's on the children. They have lots of really beautiful, I mean, these kids, they're beautiful. They have a full face of makeup. She says she's in Australia, and they have that thing on their neck and all of those bloody things. And that is his head against her neck, her ear area, with those tubes coming out of his eyes and mouth. Here's a photo of one of the child's foot. That child right there's foot. This is why their toes look the way they do. This is their foot. It's connected to something with a key, you guys. It's connected to the ground. These guys I think they're trafficking. That's what I see. And I don't know why the fuck his name is Tim Mullins. That can't be a coincidence. It cannot be. Let me crop something in real fast. There has to be a reason for it, you guys. I cropped out the top of that machine. Wait. Copy. In the back, that looks like Grandis is when Grandis had those fake family reunions. So that's what's back there. Those are boxes. And they're standing again. It goes with the philosophy. I think it goes underground, like down in a hole. And the hole is surrounded by the maroon metal. And because I really can't show their faces, it kind of got a little pixelated. But that photo is of them in a huge parking lot area, and that goes down in the ground. I put this up here because there's always sand involved. Sand, plaster, cement, that whole situation I circled. I don't know who they are, but they have the equipment attached to a little girl. Right in the open. Right in the open. Those wires go right over her head. Right in the open. That's the machine being covered up. They didn't cover it up. They didn't cover it up. Isn't that nuts? So I got so involved in looking at this other Tim Mullins that I never got to Tim Mullins, because this Tim Mullins, if you go on Facebook, you'll see it. He has a real pretty girlfriend. Click on the girlfriend's link. He has no photos, but she does. Look at that. It's in the toes and the feet. You know, in the Benet Ramsey, I think it was, they showed the feet, the Ramsey case of the little girl, and they couldn't figure out why her toes were really strange. This is why, because it's the same, what she went through is the same thing that these kids are going through. He didn't get, don't you think we would know if he got locked up? So I don't really know exactly who this is, but it's just another Tim Mullins that is right underneath his Tim Mullins. And I just don't understand it. Obviously, we don't understand it, right? All right, wait, let me put something up here. Hold on. What I'm going to do, so I wanted to show that to you guys. So when you research into a Tim Mullins, I'm not really quite sure who that name belongs to. Does the Tim Mullins switch his name? Does he switch names? All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. That was just a little intro because I found it interesting. There's a picture that she has of the kids in front of I think it's a child care center, which looks exactly like that Williams child care center that he was in, that they say was a child care center because they had the same color toys in the window and like the same shape. Like I could feel the shape of the building basically. But all right, guys, this is what I'm doing today. I am going to keep the camera on all of these photos here, and I'm going to read particular passages that I wrote a little while ago. I've read them before, but there's one particular passage. When I get to it, I know there's all this controversy about the phone. I wrote about that, I think it's April or May or something. And I also see here how I got May 28th is her number, 528. I see that as well. So I'm going to just read a few things as I show you some photos. I don't think I have read these yet, but they are now my entries that I've been making. They started before Summer Moon went missing. Seem to be of importance now. I think it's an importance now. I could see it, and I you don't understand. Well, I don't understand what I write until it becomes important, right? And one of them was, I wrote, hold on. God. The spirits are so strong. It's just insane. Oh, God. If you guys would live in my shoes for 24 hours. Jesus Christ. I'm going to read a few passages while I am mixing up this little. Okay. All my pictures. Okay, let me get a light on this. Okay. So what I did is I cut all these photos. I told you I had tons of photos, right? And now they're coming into play, these little photos, because I'm using them as a focus point, a channeling point, you know? And it's working. Let's see if that works. Yeah. Maybe that's better. Yeah, that's a little better. Okay. This is what I made last night, and I let it set, right? But we're going to finish it up tonight, and it sits with this little rack. And then I have all these photos here that are cut up. See, all these photos of summer. Let's see if you could see them. Let me see how I have to put them so you could see them. Okay, so I will use the rack. Okay, so once I'm going to be putting just different photos up here sitting in my little mixture. The rack. That's better. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to read, I've got 4 books. I went through them to see what stood out and what I'm keeping. This is one of them I think that is important because there's something going on with the phones, right? We don't know if it's true or not true. It sounds a little weird, but one of my entries, it said, I asked to take a group photo. I asked to take a group photo of all it was a selfie. The other girls, I read this before, the other girls were young and I could feel their sexuality and freedom to flirt. They were being watched over so they would not go overboard. They had on short red skirts, short hair, and dark hair. I took the selfie. When I went to look at it, my phone was replaced with someone else's phone. I had a completely new phone, not mine. I asked where my phone was. I was shown a completely different style phone, but it wasn't mine. The group had many different phones, shapes, styles, brands, phones. I never got mine back and was given a completely different one. Summer's outfit was bought for her for that day. This phone thing I have been writing about from the beginning, and it makes sense because I said there's a lot of different phones, lots of different shapes, styles. So, I mean, there are probably so many phones, and my spiritual self is telling me that the phone that Benny is talking about isn't a cell phone. It's not a cell phone. He is talking about a phone that works this process. It's not a phone that you and I would have. That was the one that was taken away and not returned. The police have, I'm channeling, that's what I'm doing. The police have, oh wow, you guys, the spirits are so strong. Oh my God. The police have all the phones, all the electronics, but what they don't have is the so-called phone that is used for the purpose of what they do. You see. That's the one that the person threw out the window, gone. And then they got something back, but that's the phone that's being protected. And if you turn that phone in, you're basically turning in the mechanics of the whole entire thing. You're turning in like the bombshell. The bombshell. Like it's big. I've showed it to you guys before, the phone. It looks like a little smaller than a mini iPad. And they use it. They use that. I showed you, it looks like a little machine. It looks like a little machine. And that's a phone that wasn't turned in. So when Benny is doing all this and this and that, he's talking about the phone, like you know which phone I'm talking about, and that one is, it's the phone that I never got returned to me in my vision, because it wasn't the same phone that was supposed to be returned. They didn't turn that one in. They didn't turn that one in. So that's a discussion. Yes, TBI thinks they have all the phones because they do. Of course they do. But they don't have this particular /phone/ remote. It's like the one they use. That's the one they use for this, throughout this purpose, you guys. I'm putting it out there. That's what he's talking about. That's what he's talking about. It's for the sake of this purpose. Nothing more. This one is the weather. The weather, blue skies. This little girl's shoe fell off while running up a hill. One tall hill. Did not get over the hill. Her shoe fell off. Blue gym shoe as she was running for fun. This is an entry I wrote over the Summerwell stuff. Open field of tall grass, lots of people. It was about 3 p.m.-ish. The grass was still taller than you. Corn, farm, more grass. Hill had a small dirt path on top of the hill, towards the top. It did not make it to the top. So this person who I'm talking about is Summer, didn't make it to the top of the hill. Needed to turn body around to get the shoe. Everyone started screaming like an avalanche was coming. I saw cottonwood. I was swallowing people through past running. Oh, it was swallowing people up as they were running, like the white cotton. I lay down to get under everything so it went over me. I was now in a silent white den all around me, now by myself. In the den were animals to my right. Animals were coming out of the area. My head felt enclosed, not body, just my head. Animals were around body, baby animals. Went to building. I'm going to have to quiet that dog down a minute. One had black hair, was familiar to me. Summer knew this lady who got out of the car, pickup truck, dirty green pickup truck. Came a man. It was wet and rainy. I saw the guy advertising for the plumbing. This is why I read to you this part once before. Then saw a sign on the wall, white letters. People were taking pictures in front of it. And that's when I read this other day, which said, I saw a girl, I hate my sister, I hate the sister I hate. And the sister had brown hair. Sign was painted on brick wall, red and blue. I took her phone by accident. It was a black phone. She was not happy. I took the phone at this location. A guy started asking me questions that made no sense, and he got nervous. His eye was a lazy eye, reddish brown hair. I'm reading these over because I think it's kind of important to put it out in the universe. These notes. It's because then once I go back over to this little area of sand, I'll have a better connection to the spirits. Wait. Yeah, there's so many. Poor day, pulled a card. Pulled a card. I don't have to read you that. I have yes and no questions. Right. Not that book. Okay. This one is important. This was April 14th. A little boy with the dark blue large size backpack, large enough to cover his backside and neck. New backpack, it wasn't used. Brown thick short hair from backside. Walking alone, lost on left side of the street, small thin sidewalk made of cement. Nobody else was with him as he looked around the town. Again, old looking, worn down town. Not a city, it was offbeat, off-map location. He was walking east, not afraid, confused, and trying to figure out what was happening. He was between the age of 5 and 9. That night I was shown why my body kept jerking at night. I went for a fast ride on a motorcycle. Now it's just all about the missing children. In mountains, on both sides of the mountains, there was water to the left, green trees ahead. My body would twitch and react to each turn movement and felt the gravity as he went down the hill. Never saw who was with me, only saw the road. It was a one-way up road. It felt as if I was moving straight up at times. Every so often I felt a downward hill. Rainbows were everywhere as I could almost touch them or create it with the tip of my finger. I got close to the edge on top. I saw blue sky like it was where I could stand at the edge and jump. A bright light got brighter when I asked if it was one of my guides, said no, I'm the bright light. I felt as if I was being told to get off the vehicle, walk over, and jump off the side. My body physically was reacting. I knew I would scream and move if I jumped. Oh my God. I jumped and I went down like a skateboard. And there I was. I thought this dog was with me. The dog wasn't fake. I heard the bark. Either way, this is what was shown. Behind a large, empty white building was a parking lot. Lot was first empty, then filled up. I know this because I could not find my white car. I left it in the parking lot and I tried using the remote, and my remote was also gone and taken. A lot of electronics I wrote about. There's some mess up, I think, you guys. I then ventured to what looked like a small town. New corner store, small and almost open like a patio as the town all went here. This town had what seemed to be an overnight place camp. Until I walked over to the cabins, I started to tell this girl that I never knew about the camp. They were in these small cabins separated by plastic walls. Each had a bed and 2 plastic doors. The cabin was empty and looked like a new empty 4-wall box. You know, like I'm reading this guy's sheet because I wrote this shit as it came so fast that I had to write it. And this is the stuff that I kept writing before summer even went missing. The summer that we know. Empty a 4-wall box. I asked them if they liked it here. They gave me a file filled with handwritten notes. Many, many notes were things the person in exchange needed. Supplies, bed sheets. Cherokee was the brand. They wanted me to see the name Cherokee. No food items, all living necessities. They were written as individual orders. Behind the cabins, they had large parties, many teenagers drinking. I saw a few of the campers. I call them campers. I mean, obviously at the point, now I know they're not campers, right? Let me see here. Their kids have been taken. One had long, skinny, silky black hair. There was a pool and maybe a large bonfire. They were very wasted and high. I left with the file and the folder. Drove short period of time to a well-known town close by the lower part of the hills. I know that because I could not understand how I did not know about the camp because it was so close by. I went over my files. The purchase order said Cherokee. It was like the POs were written by plastic cube lights. Oh, they're written by plastic cube lights. So this is what I put. So right here, like they were written as each bunker wanted their stuff. The individual bedrooms. I needed to get them back before noticed. I heard a few words and full sentences. I'm here. I'm here. See, I told you they keep saying that like I'm right here. And they just kept saying I'm here. And that was the end of that. And then this one is April 22nd. April 22nd. I saw a small 2-bedroom apartment somewhere warm getting dressed with 3 other girls. It felt as if there was an earthquake. My complete body fell to the movement. We looked out the window and somewhere a plane dropped and hit. Multiple cars, buses, buildings. People ran to the cars and started pulling out. I said, grab that little bit. Now, obviously that's not what I'm writing about. This is what's important. I said, grab that little baby. They got the baby out safely on a stretch board. I saw the full color baby on the stretch board. Well, that was that. I read you this one. There's so many. This one I don't understand. This is actually, I drew out what these rooms looked like, you know, because I walked them. So I spent time in the bedroom. There's a bedroom with a 16-year-old. That was a place, no sex, all cuddling. Left me in a room. Then this one was a sitting room with a couch, kitchen with a long table. Redhead girl's sister, older man, sat quietly. So I just wrote like all these nutty things that are hard to explain. Now this is a strange one. I wrote workers that use a cement spreader. Under bridge, they would wipe their spreader on the person's leg, evenly worked over the clothing. The substance had some kind of deadly delayed liquid. Many workers were part of this clearly deadly spreader wipe. Well, that's what just helps me, So to me, I'm keeping in cement, right? Then it's funny when I look through, this is the book that I gave, the one that I have right now in my hand that I gave FBI, right? Wait, let me see if you guys could see these. Yeah. And when I look over my own notes, I'm like, they're almost crazy to even look at that I even said them out loud to them because it's so sick. But the certain things in here that I wrote down that I circled are the ones that aren't so out of crazy. I had picking up color. Don messed up with the cars. He should have never moved the cars around. They had a set plan. They began taping May 28th. This is where I get the May 28th. This is where I get May 28th. Because I don't know why, but I have written in here very large that this whole thing started on May 28th. The water day, the water hole. Oops, stop. The water hole, I don't know what day it started, but I have the TikTok scene water day hole. Kids are all collected and ready for showtime. All kids came from Grasshopper Creek, where all the rivers merge. They were being kept in a small round home, chained and masked until that day came. Right? So somewhere I wrote that was a holding pattern, right? May 28th was, I guess, the day of summer dancing in the rain. The kids are ready to show faces, dancing for audience. Show the faces, show the kids were wearing new clothes from Candace's stock. The house was filled with clothes. Candace went to Walmart that day and purchased milk and new clothing for the kids. Look for those same clothes in superstores, which obviously I didn't. The kids then pulled up, not in a white truck, in a mobile black truck that was unloaded. The kids inside the metal car from the ride. I realized, I'm assuming, so these are the things I'm going to be putting down that I believe to be true. So much. Today was about the all-white basement. All white except for the red car, yellow car, and the rope. The rooms are freshly painted except for the pipes. And I have a photo, I guess I wrote even back then, brown round place of ride, that their heads were just showing. So I saw just head showing. So could you imagine me reading this to the TBI? I mean, not the TBI, the FBI, and telling them that, this is so covered. Tell them that the heads are sticking out of the ground, right? Let me start this. That's just not, that is just something that didn't go over very well for my credibility. They were like, you do know what you're saying. Like, you do know you're saying that these kids' heads are, and like, yeah, I'm sticking to it. I'm sticking to it, you know? And I'm also going to be sticking to, I just want to read those few to you. I'm also sticking to, Tim Mullins could give all the last details. Tim Mullins could give all the last details today. I don't know if he will. I don't know if he can. I have no idea. But I think that it's the next step. I think it's the next step. For those, you know, let me see how I could lay these so you could see these. Okay, I'm going to go through photos like this. I know a lot of people haven't seen my photos before. I started posting them way in the beginning when no one was understanding the deep fake. And the deep fake, like, I had no one seeing it. And I have thousands of, hundreds up to 1,000 photos that when I printed them, I saw it, you know? And when I go back to these pictures, what I saw is there. But it's so interesting how when things are not aligned and ready for the truth, no matter what happens, it could be right in front of you. You won't see it. You won't see it. So pictures like this and like that, where the kids are shown that they actually are in the water with an adult embraced, was very difficult to get across to anybody. I'm re-showing them today and discussing them as part of my story because they do stand true. They do stand true. They are the story. They are the Summer Wells Missing Children story. You know, when you look at something like that in a child that we know is not Summer, it was really tough for people to even acknowledge that that was a photo of truth. But it is. You know, it is. And I think that it's just that time. Now, why I think water is involved is because pictures like this, I have many of them like that, of just nasty photos from a boat. And to me, this is the dumping ground. These, I don't think that, I shouldn't say to me, when I'm showing these photos, I'm channeling. I'm telling you what I see. So I just need to be a little more clear. Sorry, you guys. What I see here is the dumping of whatever's left. They're not there with anything but the dumping. So now I understand these photos a little bit more. At first, I wasn't sure, but I know that there's so many different phases to this sick cult-like thing, that when I see this, this is the dumping. And these photos are real. Every one of my photos, every one of them, come from Candace. These are all Candace's TikToks. Okay? These are all Candace's TikToks. Grab the big ones. These also really upset people when I show these photos. That's Summer. I believe this is Summer and Michael Vaughn. We are now ready to look at these pictures. We're ready to look at these pictures and say, this is the shit that is going on in our world. I don't think we were ready 9 months ago. No one was ready to hear these really horrific entries. Trust me. Trust me, one day it will be written. There was this lady with these crazy stories, and man, those were real. Those were real. Now, this is the one I showed everyone. It was a tattoo that says Bly. Now, I thought for sure I would get some traction on this, right? From the TBI. This guy is at the Carnival ride. He's the one that Don is working with and talks to at this Carnival ride. This particular ride, it's the new ride. It's this new ride. Now, what's in my books about this new ride, let me get it. Is wait. Oh, even here I put photo number 30 are huts. This is the location where the kids are. And I put like huts. Those huts. That's what I wrote. That's what they look like. Wait. Oh my God, they must have thought I was really crazy. Okay, this is what I wrote about this ride. Now this ride, there was 2 new rides this year at the Carnival. This was one of them, and this is the ride that Don took all of his photos. When I did some research, I don't know the day on here that I wrote it, but it was in the summer because this is when I brought this stuff to the FBI. It says KGN Promotions, West Virginia Foreign LLC. On June 10th, 2021, they received their license for the truck company to move these trucks. This company is located on Robertson Street in Kingsport. I wrote this down, and I don't even know if anyone followed up on it, but it says, I must have gotten this from somewhere, and I have their license number, their DOT number owns trucking driving company that KGN Promotions or something was hired to move those rides. And this company just incorporated themselves on June 10th, 5 days before Summer went missing. And they have a DOT number of 515389. Now, obviously, this all falls under, my disclaimer. I'm just putting it out there, but this is who moved these rides, and I think that it takes very large trucks that are not being looked at, and there's machinery like rides and stuff. Like there's some machinery that's being used. But that was something that they build them equipment. And then they have a staging area that, when I showed you the picture of, I believe, where there's a location there, Appalachian Fair told me that the picture I sent them was the staging area that the truckers and the Carnival people used for a few days to set up. And kids are not supposed to be back there. So when I sent that picture to Appalachian Fair, a photo of these kids that looked like something was wrong, that's what she told me. And she wrote it in an email, and I sent it to TBI. Everything I sent to them. She said it's a staging area. Kids aren't supposed to be there. But I do know that I don't know why this would be, who this would be, but it is a tattoo on his arm. It does say Bly. And I have other ones. And I have closer pictures of his face, but that's neither here or there, right? This is what Summer called bullshit. They're nowhere near that tree. They're nowhere near this tree. They're not at that tree when this happens. I think they're at the water that Tim Mullins showed. I think they're at that water. I think that's the location. And that grass is just all water. The grass is all water. And when Summer said that this is important, the most important, she's talking about the cutter on top. There's a reason for these. I'm having a real problem with her age. I'm having a real problem with, I really cannot wait to find out how many Summer Moon wells there are. Like, how many kids stood in for her? Like what happened, These are too little. Can't probably see that. Those are too little. But, like, to me, when I would go through saying, these are not all Summer Moon, they're not. Unless the real Summer Moon, I think this is Julia. That's not Summer. This is what I mean. Let me get a bigger one of this one. That one. Let me find that another one. I have one here that I believe this is Michael Vaughn. This is Michael Vaughn. Here are the cheers. They're not swinging. This is what they're really in, you guys. And these photos that I have here, this is what I'm going to be putting into a board. I cut all these up because I'm keeping the ones that really have spoke to me. And there's a reason for this. But this tree, this is the one that Summer says bullshit to. She says bullshit to it. This is basically what they do to people, is what this photo is here. This is the kids showing off what their parents have done. They're at a location that is of importance. That I believe to be Michael Vaughn. Here. Whoop. Here. I'm trying to find a bigger picture of the one. Julia. I think it is. I don't know. Here you could see the silver nail, the rake. It's like that little rake. The pinky. This pinky right here. I showed you Nikki Kessinger has the same thing. She has the same thing. Oh my God, so this new Tim Mullins I found, his girlfriend, all these girls look alike. Like they all could intertwine. So this is what I'm showing you this. The ride. This is what happens to the pictures of the ride. See that? This is the machinery of the ride. I showed this picture. It's basically a head riding on the ride. And I show these pictures, and because our bodies aren't ready to accept it, they couldn't even see the plastic thing bringing people up. It's really there. It's really there. Right there. And that's really what they were taking a picture of. And they're taking a picture of this head. But it just wasn't its time, you know? It wasn't its time. Right? It's, this case is ready to be busted through. And they're telling me that they're telling me this is it. Like I'm actually being told that like they don't know where else to direct me, other than to just keep giving you messages of what they're trying to say, which I can do. But the point is that we got this far is pretty huge. Now the only thing is, and she's telling me that, and these are the words, a motherfucking person in high authority is keeping away and keeping those away. I think that is not Summer. I think this is going to be this girl Julia. This is the one I was trying to find. The tall one. I think she's with her. And Michael Vaughn. To keep the authorities of this person away. He's got a huge ranking. He's in high authority. And he has no hurry whatsoever. Because if he hurries to go in, he doesn't want to be the reason that it's broken up. He doesn't want to be the responsible party to breaking this up. It will create too big of a riffraff. It'll be too much for him to handle. So he is waiting for the perfect piece of evidence, and maybe that perfect piece of evidence is that fake phone. It's not a real phone, you guys. As I'm listening, it's, to certain people's talk, and it's not a phone. I mean, the authorities have all the phones. I mean, what makes y'all think that, TBI would forget to grab a phone or whatever? They have all of their social media. And the FBI is in on this. It's like that's the first thing they're going to do, you guys. But it's not a phone. It's right in my readings. They took something that looks like a phone, acts like a phone, but it doesn't quack like a phone. It just doesn't. So it's their remote. You all have seen it. People have held up. I showed you a photo of it at Grandis's family reunion. That person has it. Wait, that person has it right in the open. I'm going to finish this up while I'm doing these photos. So, really, the children are pissed. They're pissed. They are trying to fight forward and knock out the person that is keeping justice from coming. There is someone that's keeping justice from coming to them. They're so angry that they're trying to create harmfulness to this person. Because this person knows what they've been going through. He knows. He knows the process. But he knows, here's what he knows. Here's the pie. Let's say it's in 4. He only knows 1/4 of the process. This is the money part. He doesn't care about the other 3 parts. He doesn't want to know about it. He doesn't want to hear about it. This is all he's interested in. He doesn't want to know about it. But here's the problem. He's hearing about it. Because social media, we have blown it up. YouTube has blown it up. He can't fight it. So this isn't the time to let your guards down, and this isn't the time to go be friends with people on YouTube. This isn't the time to do that. This isn't it. This is the time to keep fighting for the kids, to get louder than the other ones that are screaming in your faces that act like complete assholes and they look like children. Yelling. They're freaking out. Freaking out. Too much information is being told to this person that is of authority. And the children are going to keep whispering it in their ears. They're going to keep telling and whispering it to them and letting them know what's going on. Because they're saying too fucking bad. You allow this to go too long for the sake of the money. It's gotten out of control. It's gotten out of control. They're coming up with their plan and they're trying to figure out who's going to take the bait, who is going to step in and take the heat for this guy. Someone is going to. Someone's going to. Someone is going to take the heat for that motherfucker. That's it. Because this person cannot go down with they cannot go down with it. And that's what's holding it up. They're strategizing. And the children don't give a rat's ass. They don't care. They're dealing with idiots. Idiots. It's all for the money. There's my S. All for the money. Tim Mullins is not his name. It's his face. It's the guy that, whoever that guy was, whoever that guy was, at the Vigil is the guy that we want. I don't know if that's really his name. I don't know. I don't know. But that's his face. That's his face. That's his face. And his face matches a few other cases that have these drawings. That doesn't mean anything, but it makes me feel better that I followed up and I sent it in. And I sent it in, you know. This here, they really the authorities really missed a lot of opportunity to find these children. They waited. They never moved in, you guys. They never moved in. They never moved in. There are three kids. I think that they could have found alive. They can't anymore. They cannot. They're on to the next group, you guys. It's all we could hope for is to find something that resembles the missing children. Something that resembles to give justice. And they could give justice by telling their story. Their story is they get taken. Parents don't know where they are, who took them. They just knew that they're gone. They're gone. That's all they do know. That's why they're the got gone kids. The parents say they were just gone because that is all they're supposed to know. That's all they're supposed to know. They can't know anymore or else they're not going to pass their lie detector things. They're not supposed to know. But they do know that their child was sold and gone. Sold and gone. Well, the Goads, I see it. The Goads owned that property. The Goads owned that property before the Wells did. That property they've got to dig underground, and I'm done screaming and begging. But I'm not done pushing it in their faces. They pass the lie detectors test because they're not told certain things. They cannot know who took them or where they went or what they did with them. That is the price. That's the price they pay. It's the price they pay. Tim Mullins even says it. It's the price you pay. How horrible does it feel to go to bed at night? You don't even know what happened to your child. He's rubbing it in his face. He's tormenting him in his face. Tim usually doesn't go on location. That's what I see. I feel like Tim is the one who has to stay in the background. He's the one who doesn't go on location unless someone screws up. They screwed up. They screwed up. They did. They screwed up. They really screwed up. And that's the only reason he came to town on July 23rd. July 23rd. My little potions. You know WCIA is witchcraft in action. Because what I do here is my reading and my frustration to those that are guilty and purpose of this whole thing goes into all of this. Goes into all of this. It's called visionary, channeling the truth, and letting those who are guilty pay for it. And those that don't want to come forward, come forward. And the children that are still breathing, keep breathing till they're found. Till they're found. This is what I do with this. It's very powerful. And it keeps the children in good spirits. It keeps them motivated to keep fighting and to keep speaking and to not give up. Especially us that are listening, to not give up. To keep fighting for these children. Just to keep going. You know? And the ones that are guilty, this is what I do to them. I smash them up in this thing just like they do to the kids. I came up with this. Look at, it's a ball, because this is what they do to them. So the kids have asked me to do this and turn them into sand. This is what they do to them. And they recycle them. I don't know how, but they're in their heads, they're recycling. It's a real messed up thought process, but the thing is, it's their thought process. And they believe it to be true. They believe it to be true. So here's to those that are guilty. Smash them around with a stick, the point of a stick, smashing them around, dumping them out. Smashing them around, dumping them out. They want justice. They want justice. They do. Here is to the head guy that's in charge of this whole thing. This is from the children. Could fuck off. That's them. Where's my rock? and they are going to be closing them down. Closing them down. This is what it is. This is what it is. See this? And then once these kids get justice, their seeds are allowed to be free. This is what this resembles. Their seeds are allowed to go be free and spread their own wings. Right now they're crumbled. They're crumbled underneath. They need to come up. They need to come up from the ground and place their own seeds. Their own seeds. They don't want to stay under here, you guys. They don't want to be under here, under there. They want to rise. They want to rise. That's what they want to do. Rise up. It's very warm. Wherever the mountain is, wherever the mountain is facing, wherever you're facing the mountain, they're over here. They're over here. God bless you guys. Thank you guys. And really, really, may justice come tomorrow. I love you all. Good night.